Box Girls, we use boxing as a tool and also as a medium to try to reach out for the rights of girls. And we use boxing as the main tool to tackle issues affecting girls and women in the marginalized communities, because we believe that boxing is an innovative approach when you're trying to tackle issues of social change that affects the women entirely. And people ask why boxing, because we believe that women have the right to really devote in and really find themselves in the things that people believe that they cannot do. And also in the community where we work, we are trying to challenge various stereotypes that affect the women and girls, and also in the community. And so we believe that boxing is a very good tool to use to communicate these messages, that there are stereotypes within our communities that affect us not to go beyond and really achieve what we want to do, mostly in the spectrum for women and girls in our communities.
AFA is a UK-based organization, and we have a branch in Nigeria. AFA was established in 2000, and in 2005 it was registered in Nigeria. AFA works towards the advancement of women human rights in Nigeria. We do a lot of advocacy work, we do a lot of research work with the policymakers. We also work with the Ministry of Women Affairs at the state level, because we believe that at that ministry, that's where the issue that has to do with women are deliberated upon, and that is where most policies take up from before they get to the federal levels. So we engage with the Ministry of Women Affairs, look at their internal policy, and look at how to inculcate issues that have to do with women in the policy at that level.
CEDA works with women and adolescent girls in slum communities to reduce poverty and engage them to also engage issues that affect them in those communities. Over the years, we've worked with women in slum communities, urban slum communities, to identify areas that affect them. The impact has been that there's been an awareness of human rights issues amongst women in local communities. There's been an increase in self-confidence. There's been an increase in their ability to engage with relevant governments such as local government officials, to assert them, to demand their realization of their rights in those communities.
Reach Out Cameroon is a woman and youth-led organization. We work with women and young people in underprivileged and hard-to-reach communities in areas of health, gender and capacity building and wealth creation. We have this young lady in Boya, particularly called Cynthia, who lives in a rural community, who is actually an orphan, and being a young woman, she saw herself in a situation where she couldn't raise money for her younger ones and for herself. So we came in with this micro program whereby we educated her on sexual and reproductive health. We educated her on how she could raise funds for herself by making transforming local food products into food products that have added value and selling to raise money for herself and her younger ones. And today she's been able to send her younger ones to school and take care of her health bills and that of her younger ones as well.
Actually, we're now looking at how we can help the families to be more self-sustainable and move from us paying for their school fees to the families being able to pay for the school fees for their children, and also finding income for the family. So I'll give you a practical example. We had a woman who had 3 children who paid for their school fees, but later, because we empowered her and she started selling goats and other things, she's now been able to pay for her children at school. So we've went off sponsorship while we are supporting her with capacity building.
ISIS Women's International Cross-Cultural Exchange, ISIS Wiki, is a global women's rights organization that focuses on building the leadership capacities of women in communities that have been affected by armed conflict. We have a focus on Africa, but with a regional and international mandate. We work in Uganda, South Sudan, Liberia, Democratic Republic of Congo, Kashmir, Nepal, and Burma. Our programming is focused on African women, which means that we do action research to bring out the voices of women in conflict, focusing on issues of sexual violence and how that impacts on their health. And when we get this documentation,
We use different policy spaces to voice out the issues at the international level, at the United Nations, so that we connect local issues to global debates.
Botswana, peaceful as it is, we have come to realize through our statistics that we actually have high levels of gender-based violence, specifically violence in the home, or domestic violence as it's normally known. Actually, the current statistics we have shows 67% of women have actually experienced violence in their lifetime, and 44% of men who say they've actually perpetrated violence in their lifetime. We are really looking at first the issue of a patriarchal setup that says a woman is a minor, that says a woman has no voice, that says, men and women are not equal. So because they are not equal, the other one has to exert their power and control over the other. And so when that happens, obviously it means that the one who has no voice tends to give into the power of the other, and so they can't say anything for themselves.
And so how do we tackle this issue? What do we need to do?
Kahinju Society Women's Shelter does this in two areas. We do prevention and we also do response. We provide individual counseling, we provide couple counseling and family counseling. We also do provide, as our name suggests, we provide temporary and emergency shelter where we keep women for 3 months. Women and their children, girls of all ages and boys of all ages 13 and below.
My organization operates from Matabeleland region, Matabeleland South to be specific, in Zimbabwe. It supports women on projects of farming. This includes the gardens as well as animal farming. This is especially so because Matabeleland South is a dry region and mainly reliant on underground water as well as animal farming for food as well as for financial.
We are a women rights organization. We create awareness on women's rights in communities and equip women with knowledge and skills to be able to engage, influence, and demand for these rights from duty bearers and decision makers.
And how do you do that?
We conduct training workshops to raise awareness of these human rights, of the rights. We furnish women with information relating to rights. We conduct research and relating to women's rights, and we feedback. We give the information back to communities, especially the women, to understand where the gaps are and where they need to engage the decision makers to make sure they claim their rights, they get service deliverables to them.
For the women who come to Box Girls, we have different programs that we run in the organization. We have the leadership and mentorship program, so the women can come and do the programs in leadership and mentoring. We also have the health and well-being as a program too, so they can also come, talk about their health and go outside there and help the other girls to know their health. We also have the education and boxing as a program too, where we educate the girls on computer skills, life skills, and we also have the economic empowerment, whereby we have entrepreneurship classes for our young women, whereby when they finish the classes, they can take up business opportunities and also create opportunities for themselves and for others.